Votes have been cast and the entire nation is now waiting on the results.
We have a comprehensive report on polling at the 2015 presidential election today.
A very good evening. I am Shahin Jurampati.
And I am Nicola De Zoiza.
I'm Katrina Chang reporting from Colombo.
I'm Florine Rajendran at Royal College, Colombo.
I am Sauturanga Hapuarachi reporting for News First from Colombo.
I'm Sandro Ferdinando and I'll be here in the Polo Naro district for the next few days to make sure that you get the latest news as and when it happens.
Me later on in the news bulletin as I bring you the details of the election results centre that has been set up here at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana.
Well, those are City Office reporters who are reporting on the presidential election around the country, as well as Minda Bongso, who is standing by at Ratmalana.
Let's now take a look at tonight's headlines.
Voting for the 2015 presidential poll concludes. Voter turnout exceeds 70%. First result of the presidential poll to be announced at midnight tonight. Main candidates seek peaceful celebrations from their supporters.
මේ මැතිවරණයේදී තාම මේ සාමකාමීව තමන්ගේ ඡන්දය පාවිච්චි කරලා කටයුතු කරන්නයි කියලා මම ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
අහිවේරේන වේරාණී සම්මන්තිද කුදාචනං අවේරේනච සම්මන්ති ඒස ධම්මෝ සනත්තනෝ කිසි කෙනෙකුට සතුරුකම් කරන්න හොඳ නැහැ.
Police says that the poll was peaceful and law will be strictly enforced during the post-election period.
Counting votes of the 2015 presidential election has already commenced.
According to the returning officers of the districts, the voter turnout has exceeded 70%.
The News First election headquarters is all geared up to bring you the latest details on the 2015 presidential election as and when it happens.
Let's now cross over to News First Nadeem Majid, who is at the News First election headquarters. Nadeem, over to you.
Thank you, Shahin and Nicola. Well, we are prepared here at the News First election headquarters to bring you the very latest from the 2015 presidential election as and when it unfolds. Now, we're coordinating with our vast network of provincial correspondents in all 8 provinces, all 25 districts of the country. Now, taking a look at some of the top stories today. After casting their ballots this morning, the candidates for the main political parties at this presidential election called on their supporters and the people to act peacefully and democratically.
Presidential candidate of the UPFA, President Mahinda Rajapaksa, engaged in religious observances at his residence in Madamulana before casting his vote this morning. Subsequent to laying floral tributes before the memorials of his parents, the president cast his ballot at the D.A. Rajapaksa Vidyalaya in Madamulana. Addressing the media after casting his vote, the president expressed these views about his future plans.
Our
victory will be great if we treat the losers well. This election is an election that protects democracy. Therefore, I request all to cast your vote peacefully and act in a peaceful manner. It is my duty and responsibility to protect the future of the children. Therefore, I plan to protect the children in the coming years and entrust a secure nation to them.
The president also reiterated the importance of using a valid identity card to cast the ballot.
We believed in a voting system. That is why our government introduced this to stop vote rigging. Therefore, this would apply to the president and the common man. Therefore, this is a fair election.
The presidential candidate of the New Democratic Front, Maithripala Sirisena, engaged in religious observances at his residence in Polonnaruwa this morning before casting his ballot. He cast his ballot at the Vidyaloka Vihare in Polonnaruwa, New Town.
We will be victorious. We are hoping to build a compassionate nation free of harassment.
දේශයක් ගොඩනැගීමයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නහි වේරේන වේරාණී සම්මන්තිද කුදාචනං අවේරේනච සම්මන්ති ඒස ධම්මෝ සනත්තනෝ කිසි කෙනෙකුට
It is not good to inflict harm on anyone. Therefore, I will be committed to my motherland with this victory. Accordingly, I will work towards the upliftment of the Buddhist order, and with the blessings of the gods, I will be committed to establish good governance in the country.
දේවතාවුන් වහන්සේලාගේ මහා දැක්මන ආධ්‍යාත්මික සමාජයක් ගොඩනගමින් යහපාලනයක් මේ රටේ ඇති කිරීමටත් මම කැප වෙනවා.
Presidential candidate of the Janasitha Peramuna, Venerable Bathramulle Siruratanathera, cast his ballot at the Sri Subhuti Vidyalaya in Bathramulla today. We are always for a peaceful election. We kindly request from all of you to not to inflict any harm on anyone. If one of your candidates wins, then don't break your hands and legs by trying to cheer. Presidential candidate of the Frontline Socialist Party, Duminda Nagamua, cast his ballot at the Veeramaduma Bandara Primary College in Thalagala Horana this morning. I pledge that in our future political activity and in problems that will be faced in the future, we will remain with the people and will struggle for them as a left front and as a leftist movement.
Well, I'm sure that the candidates are waiting as eagerly as we are for the first results to be announced. Meanwhile, political party leaders, party seniors and other VIPs also headed to the polls today.
We are hoping that there would be a peaceful election all over the country. We request from voters, government officials, police and the army to act accordingly. Let us end this peacefully. This is our right. It is not the time to fight or argue. When the election is over, let us all act peacefully and establish peace in the country. From there, we will begin a new era based on the opinion of the people.
සියලු ජන කොට්ටාසයන්
All sections of the society must uphold peace. We request all factions to enjoy victory without causing a situation. We need a new step or a new journey for democracy in this country. We strongly believe that this need will be expressed at this election. Let's put an end to fighting and hatred. We cast our ballot for the dawn of a prosperous country where there is no hate among nationalities. We are hoping that a massive people's mandate will be created that would continue to protect our country. By tomorrow, a compassionate rule will dawn upon this country in order to create good governance that will establish a new political culture with political etiquette. People of this country will use their vote for freedom, democracy and good governance. They will use their vote against economic criminals and Elam murderers. I'm proud to say that with a free and democratic election, a compassionate rule will dawn on this country. We are thankful to all, the Elections Commissioner, officials and the police for creating the environment for a peaceful election. During the last couple of days, there were many false reports that I have left the SLFP. I am positive that the people of this country will not be deceived by such reports and ensure the victory of President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
අතිගරු ජනාධිපති මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාගේ ජයග්‍රහණය විශිෂ්ට ලෙස තහවුරු කරන බව මට විශ්වාසයි.
Now, a vast network of Newsfirst U reporters, numbering over 18,000 in fact, sent in many updates today from across the island on what they felt, what they saw and what they heard during the polling for the 2015 presidential election. Now, as we reported earlier, the voter turnout at the 2015 presidential election was at over 70%. Now, this means that over 10 million people who were eligible to vote exercised their franchise today. 15,044,490 people were eligible to cast their ballots at the 12,314 polling stations spread across the country from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. today.
1,586,597 eligible voters in the Colombo district cast their ballot today. $1.6,097,537 voters cast their ballot in the Gampaha district. 897,349 eligible voters exercised their franchise from the Kalutara district. 462,911 voters were eligible to cast their ballot in the Hambantota district. 819,666 persons cast their vote in the Galle district. 623,818 persons were eligible to cast their ballot in the Mathura district. 620,486 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Badula district today. 339,797 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Monaragala district today. 636,733 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Anuradhapura district today. 307,125 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Polonnaruwa district today. 1.4,009,160 persons cast their ballot in Kandy today. 379,675 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Matale district today. 534,150 persons cast their vote from the Nuwara Eliya district today. 1,266,443 persons were eligible to cast their franchise in the Kurunegala district today. 553,009 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Putlam district. 256,852 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Trincomalee district today. 465,757 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Digamandulla district. 365,167 voters cast their ballot in Batiklo today. 810,082 persons cast their ballot in Ratnapura today. 649,878 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Kegalle district today. 529,239 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Jaffna district today. 253,058 persons were eligible to exercise their franchise in the Vanni electoral district today.
Now, the counting process is already underway at counting centres across the island. The first postal voting results are expected in about 40 minutes at 10 p.m, while the first official result is expected at midnight.
Polling commenced at 1,076 polling stations across the Colombo district today. We hope to commence counting by 7 p.m. today. At 4:30 p.m, the counting of postal votes commenced. This is happening at Royal College. We hope to announce postal voting results at 10:30 p.m.
You're witnessing the manner in which the ballot boxes are being transferred into the counting centre. Now, security in the area has been beefed up to an extent we cannot even enter into the counting centre. Now, stay tuned to News First as we bring you the very latest as and when it unfolds. For the News First team, I'm Florine Rajendran reporting from Royal College, Colombo.
As you can see behind me, the ballot boxes for the presidential election is being brought here to one of the main counting centres here in Colombo, which is DSA Nanaka College in Colombo 7. The security has been beefed up. So we at News First are here to bring you more of the very latest details. Reporting from DSA Nanaka College, I'm Katharina Chang.
The counting of votes for the presidential election is taking place at Sujata Vidyalaya in Mathura. I can say that voter turnout has been close to 75%. The counting of postal votes commenced at 4:30 p.m. We hope to commence counting when we receive all the ballot boxes.
We could see that voting in the Mathura district was peaceful today. The returning officer and the DIG in charge of the district confirmed this to us.
Well, I'm in the ancient city of Polonnaruwa, and this is Tamankaudwa, which is one of the 288 polling stations in the Polonnaruwa district. So we've been covering most of these areas throughout the day, and what we observed is that everything was done in a very peaceful manner. People are coming in numbers from morning onwards, and there's no record of any election violence.
Polonnaruwa has been very peaceful, and this has made our task all the more easy. As per the instructions of the Elections Commissioner, we are hoping to release the result within 3 hours. 465,757 people were eligible to vote. The assistant returning officers have informed us that voter turnout was about 70%.
We can see the ballot boxes being brought in following the closing of polling for the 2015 presidential election. Counting is taking place at 2 centres in the Mathale district.
I wish to say that security in Kurunegala was exemplary. At the same time, it has been reported to me that voter turnout has been over 77%.
Following the conclusion of voting, the ballot boxes are being taken to the counting centres. Counting is taking place at the Putlam District Secretariat and 2 schools in the district.
Polling for the 2015 presidential elections concluded at 4 this evening. And behind me is the Suchi National School in Hambantota, which is the sole counting centre in the district. And what you see are the ballot boxes from the 411 polling centres in the district being brought to the counting centre. And these ballot boxes are being brought to the counting centre amidst tight security. And the counting of postal votes have already begun. I'm Mithunam De Silva reporting for News First from Hambantota.
Our reporters are spread out across the island and ready to bring you the latest news from the presidential election as and when it unfolds. Now, one of the prominent personalities over the past couple of days in the run-up to the presidential election, of course, has been Elections Commissioner Mahinda Deshapriya. Now, shortly after polls closed today, Deshapriya spoke to reporters at the Election Secretariat in Rajagiriya. Let's have a look at what he had to say.
A problem faced at previous elections was unidentified groups and persons masquerading as security personnel obstructing people from going to their polling stations. We have not received any such complaints this time around. At the same time, everyone is aware that most complaints that were lodged regarding the possibility of false ballot papers being placed in the ballot boxes turned out to be myths based on falsehoods. Even now, we are receiving complaints from some areas regarding the possibility of ballot boxes being replaced and that ballot boxes are being loaded onto vehicles. I call on the general public not to place any trust whatsoever in these rumours. It is our duty to correctly count the marked ballot papers in the appropriate ballot boxes and release the correct results to you. As per the signals we have received, there is no need to suspend counting at any of the counting centres. As per the information we have at present, we are yet to be informed of any trouble via fax from any of the returning officers. All media organisations and opposition and government activists have certified to us that polling took place without any incident. Election observers too have confirmed this. We commence counting postal votes at 4:30 p.m. We expect to be able to release these results from 10 p.m. onwards. Since we are commencing the counting of votes at 7 p.m, we do not expect to be able to release the results of any of the polling divisions until about midnight. We are hoping to release the final island-wide result tomorrow as and when we are ready. This could be in the morning, afternoon or in the evening. Until all the votes are counted, no one can pronounce the correct results. Do not be hasty.
Well, as in the past, we are committed to bring you the election results first and fast. Let's now cross over to News First Mahina Bongzo, who is at the First and Fast Election Results Broadcast Centre established at Stein Studios in Ratmalana. Mahina?
Studios in Ratmalana, where News First has set up its Presidential Election Results Center. This is going to be the epicenter for the results that you will be receiving tonight. You performed your civic duties by voting today, but now you're waiting to see what will be the outcome or the results of that vote. Well, the News First team is geared up to bring you those results first and fast. The digital media team too is here at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana, here at our Presidential Election Results Center, and to talk a little bit about how you can follow the updates and also the results is Ramesh Irugal Bandara, Assistant Manager, Digital Media Team of News First. Now, Ramesh, tell our viewers what are the handles, the Twitter handle that they could access the results from, our Facebook page, the address, and what else have you got in store for the digital media fanatics in this country?
Well, Mahina, first of all, we've got a brand new layout for the Newsfirst.lk website where we will be launching it with the first result of the 2015 presidential election. And in addition to that, you said Twitter handle. You can follow us on our Twitter handle, that's @NewsFirst, or just search for the hashtag SLDecides15, which is dedicated to us to get the presidential election results first and fast. And also you can follow us on Facebook, that's facebook.com/newsfirst.english. That's our Facebook page. And of course, the new media team can bring you the live visuals of our election coverage for the 2015 presidential election on live streaming technology on the website www.newsfirst.lk.
So a long night ahead for the News First digital media team who are here updating this page at the very moment we're speaking. Thank you very much, Ramesh, for joining us. Well, the results will be coming in a short while. That will be the postal results. And when the results do come, we will be bringing it first and fast. And these gentlemen behind me, that's Myron and Thamira and also myself, we will be bringing you these results first and fast. Now, what happens when we bring you the results? Well, we're not going to stop just there. We're going to take it a step further. And that is where the augmented reality election result analysis comes into play. Now, Chetana Lianage and Sangit Kalubovila from Sirsa TV News First will be analyzing these results, comparing it with those of 2005, 2010, so that you can understand how the results have changed this year on. And they'll be using various tools such as graphs and other graphical representations to give you a clear idea of these results. Going a step further, we will also have an eminent panel of in-house journalists who have served for a very long time here at News First. And this panel of journalists are made up of J. Sri Ranga, an eminent journalist in the Tamil media stream in this country. Also, Mr. Sripal Vanyarachi and Mr. Asoka Dias, who have more than 20 years of experience working in the media industry in Sri Lanka. They will be headed by Mr. Roshan Vatawala, who became very popular with his show, The Davasa, which was aired during this entire election period. Now, they will be talking about matters that affect you. Now, when you watch the election results, you would have certain questions that would come into mind. Well, they will be talking about these questions. How will these results shape the future of our country? How does this result impact the people of this particular area, this particular district? And what sort of identity does this district provide? And this will all be spoken about in this panel discussion. So all of this is taking place in this massive studio complex in Ratmalana, the Stein Studios, the epicenter for the News First election results for the 2015 presidential election. Our News First team is also going to be there at the News First studio and the News First Center, bringing you the updates and all the other events unfolding as the results are announced. So stay with News First as we bring you the election results first and fast, coupled with in-house expert analysis and also the augmented reality election analysis live and direct from the News First Election Results Center at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana. I'm Mahina Bongso, joining you from Stein Studios. It's back to you, Nadeem.
Thank you, Mahina. Well, it looks like all preparations are complete at Ratmalana. We'll be looking forward to joining them in just about half an hour when the first postal voting result is expected to be announced. Now, as I mentioned earlier, our vast network of over 18,000 new reporters from Point Pedro to Dondra Head sent in many updates today. Let's take a look at some of the reports that they filed.
I'm at the polling station at the Udamadalawa College. Voting for the 2015 presidential election took place peacefully since this morning. I'm at the polling station at the Hassan College in Akurana. Polling took place peacefully here today. Voting at the Medavachi Central College in the Medavachi electoral division took place peacefully today. We have not heard of any reports of violence in the area. Voting for the 2015 presidential election took place peacefully in Gampaha today, and the voters showed great enthusiasm. Voting was very peaceful today in this area, and polling went ahead without any incident. Voting in the Mathura district too got underway today. I'm at a polling station at a school in Valigama. We can see that voters were very enthusiastic to exercise their franchise today.
දැන් චන්ද්‍ර ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමේ කටයුතු මේ වෙන විට ඊටම උනන්දුවෙන් ජනතාව සිදු කරන බව අපිට පෙනියනවා. මම නිවුස් ෆස්ට් රිපෝටර් ලලිත් පත්මසිරි වැලිගම සිට. මා දැන් සිටින්නේ මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ උඩුදුම්බර.
I'm in the Ududumbur electorate in the Kandy district. We could see that people turned up with great enthusiasm to cast their votes today.
කටයුතු කරන ආකාරයක් අපිට පෙනෙන්න තිබෙනවා. අද උදෑසන විතර මේ දක්වාම වැලනෝකඩේදී මේ ජනද්වාරයේදී ඡන්ද පාවිච්චි කරන ජනතාව මහත් උනන්දුවෙන් කටයුතු කරන බව අපට පෙනියනවා මේ අවස්ථාවේදී. මම නිවුස් ෆස්ට් වෙනුවෙන් සානින් දිසානායක උඩුදුම්බර ඡන්ද මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ සිට.
Voters in Kandy headed to the polling stations with great enthusiasm today.
Now, any election is very significant as it represents our commitment to participatory democracy. The 2015 presidential election was a special moment for many people. Here are some of the moments that were captured on Newsfirst cameras across the country.
This moment was captured on our Newsfirst camera while our team was reporting on the polling in Colombo. A couple who exchanged vows today fulfilled their civic responsibilities in this manner. The recent heavy downpour washed away the now Lakadawata bridge constructed across the Amman River. The locals for the villages today travelled to the polling centres with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Navy.
Now, although there were no major reports of election violence throughout the day today, several minor incidents were reported.
An unidentified group placed a mara tree blocking a road located in close proximity to the Deke Kanwa area in Sirimbe Adi along the Putlam Anuradhapura main road. As a result, vehicular movement along this route was disrupted. Thereafter, the Putlam police together with area residents took measures to allow one-way travel along the route. A tense situation arose between the Minister of Wildlife, Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa, and the chairman of the UNP Youth Front in the Munragala district, Punsanda Mahakumbra, this morning. Police stated that this incident took place near the 4th mile post along the Mahiyangana Bibila main road.
After having placed my vote, I was driving along the Bibila Mahiyangana main road with my friends when Minister Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa came in front of my vehicle. He then held a pistol to my chest and threatened to kill me. He tried to pull me out of the vehicle. He assaulted me. It was only after the intervention of several police officers on election duty that I was rescued. Even the STF arrived at the location.
We attempted to contact Minister of Wildlife Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa. However, our efforts proved futile. The Bibila police stated that both parties lodged a complaint. However, the case was handed over to the Mahiyangana police in order to carry out further investigations into the incident. A group of election monitors discovered a pile of fake ballot papers dumped on both sides of the Bandaranayaka Martha in Anuradhapura this morning.
As our reporters mentioned, security was tight across the island today. Now, what of the post-election period? Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana also convened a media briefing shortly after polls closed to elaborate on security arrangements that have been put in place for the post-election period.
A peaceful election has been held. The next 6 to 7 days too will be considered as an election period. In this time frame, there can be no processions, vehicular parades, paraharas or anything of the sort involving the public. If certain individuals are being a harassment to others by lighting fireworks, then we will have to arrest them. We consider enforcing law and order the prime responsibility of the police. If the police are met with resistance, then we will be compelled to use proportional force. If at any instance we are met with resistance which could lead to the death of a police officer or any other person, then we will be compelled to respond with lethal force.
මරණය දක්වා බලය පාවිච්චි කිරීමට සිද්ධ වෙනවා. මැතිවරණය කාල සීමාව හැටියට හඳුන්වන්නේ සතියක කාල
The election period is usually identified as being a week. There are 6 days left. In this time frame, the Sri Lanka Army, Navy and Air Force are prepared under the coordination of the Chief of Defence Staff to provide full cooperation to the police to uphold law and order.
සම්මන්ධීකරණයෙන් යුතුව සූදානමින් සිටිනවා.
අපි සියලු දෙනාම අපි යුද හමුදාව පොලිසිය අත්වැල් බැඳ ගන්නවා සාමය ආරක්ෂා කරන්න. ඒ වගේ මේ රටේ ජනතාවත් ඕගොල්ලොත් අපිට සහාය දෙන්න ඕනේ මේ සතියක් තුල මේ තත්ත්වෙටම මේ රට පවත්වාගෙන යන්න. Thank you.
Now, as we mentioned before, we here at the Newsfirst election headquarters are prepared to bring you the latest as and when it unfolds. We're expecting the first results in just a few minutes from now, about 23 minutes to be specific. We'll be crossing over to Stein Studios in Ratmalana, where we have an all-star crew ready to bring you the latest results as and when it unfolds, accompanied by a comprehensive analysis. For the moment, let's head back to the main news desk. Shahin, over to you.
A lethal blow was dealt to humanity, justice and media freedom 5 years ago today. Tonight we reminisce on the loss of not only a colleague, but a friend.
Lasantha Wickrematunge was not only an accomplished journalist and politician, but also a humanitarian. It is with pride that we remember how Lasantha Wickrematunge remained a friend to our network through thick and thin. A guardian of truth and a proponent of justice, Lasantha Wickrematunge founded the Sunday Leader newspaper with the intention of upholding and furthering these values. They say the pen is mightier than the sword. In Lasantha's case, this was not a mere quotation to be bandied about, but a code to live by. Lasantha never faltered when it came to exposing criminals regardless of which social strata they hailed from. A voice against injustice, Lasantha opened new doors in investigative journalism and inspired both his followers and critics. 2 days before his untimely and cruel death, when the MTV MBC studio complex in Dipanma was attacked, Lasantha fearlessly raised his voice in condemnation.
I wholeheartedly condemn this terroristic attack on the Sirius MTV Shakti stations. We as media personnel will have to face up to this challenge. This is not the first time media organizations have come under attack, and it certainly won't be the last. But we as media personnel must face up to this challenge, not be bowed down under whatever threats and intimidation, and unitedly face this threat.
Lasantha had to pay the ultimate price for the sacrifices he made for freedom and justice. While headed to work like any other day, Lasantha Wickrematunge was attacked on the Dehiwala Attedi road. Lasantha's fight for justice did not and will not fade away despite his demise. 5 years to the day since Lasantha was taken from us, those responsible remain at large. The circumstances surrounding his assassination remain a mystery. In Lasantha Wickrematunge's final editorial titled, "And Then They Came For Me," Lasantha wrote, quote, "Let there be no doubt that whatever sacrifices we journalists make, they are not made for our own glory or enrichment. They are made for you. Whether you deserve their sacrifice is another matter. As for me, God knows I tried." Unquote.
A statement issued by the Metropolitan of the Church of Ceylon, who is also the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Right Honourable and Most Reverend Justin Welby, has been released to media at His Grace's instruction by the presiding Bishop of the Church of Ceylon, the Right Reverend Dilaraj Ranjit Kanagasabe, the Bishop of Colombo, in respect of the resignation of the Bishop of Kurunegala, the Right Reverend Shanta Francis.
The statement reads, quote, "The Anglican Church in Sri Lanka has had a long and honourable history as a force for unity throughout the whole period of civil disturbance on the island. Successive bishops of both dioceses have used their influence to build relationships between the communities, maintaining the Church's reconciling mission across the nation. That unifying mission has the full and unqualified support of the Archbishop of Canterbury and is wholly aligned with his own emphasis on reconciliation in every aspect of his own ministry across the world." Unquote. Furthermore, it notes, quote, "The visit by Bishop Shanta to Canterbury last week was to consider with him the various options for dealing with his position as a bishop who had voluntarily stood down following numerous complaints that he brought his church and ministry into disrepute. A particular cause of concern was his involvement in unresolved criminal proceedings relating to misappropriated pension funds. Members of his own diocesan standing committee had requested that he should resign, and he agreed to do so."
On to some cricket news. Virat Kohli became the first man to make 3 Test centuries in his first 3 innings as captain on an eventful third day of the 4th Test against Australia in Sydney.
That's right, Nicola. He made an unbeaten 140, while Lokesh Rahul with 110 helped India finish on 342 for 5 in response to Australia's 572 for 7 declared. Rahul was dropped on 46 by captain Steve Smith, who blamed the television device Spidercam for the error. Smith was distracted by one of the wires in his eye line. Spidercam is a camera system which gives viewers a bird's eye view of the action using cables to carry a camera on wires above the action. Australia have already secured the series after winning their first 2 tests in Adelaide and Brisbane and drawing the third in Melbourne.
Second test match. After the nightmares in his debut match, he's got a reason to have a big smile on his face. The captain is happy.
And he gets it. Another 100 for Virat Kohli. What a time he's having. What a player he is. 4th Test 100 in Australia, and he lets the world know about it. That's the way he plays his cricket. And that's why everyone loves him.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I am Nicola D'Zoiza.
And I am Shahan Chirampati.
Take care and good night.